Hello. Hello everyone. I'd like to start out by introducing myself. My name is LeahWeber and I am from a small town in Oklahoma. And thank you so much for joining my live tonight. I wanted to go live tonight mostly to tell my testimony and in hopes that maybe somebody out there hears something from my testimony that might just give them hope and encourage them tonight. And so I wanted to start out with a song. And I have a big testimony to tell, and I have been thinking about it for a long time of just how to tell it in such short time. And so I thought, you know what, I'll just go live and share it. And so thank you everybody that has joined me tonight. And I'm going to get started with the song. And actually I think I'll wait till some more hop on. But I want to start out by saying that, you know, I've always had a pretty normal life. Growing up, you know, I have two sisters, and I've just always loved life, you know. And in 2016, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And that was definitely a life-changing trial for me. And when I say that, you know, it was life-changing in, you know, fear and anger and hurt, being mad at God. And that was really when I was finding myself, though. You know, growing up as a young child, my parents took me to church all the time. My dad, he pastored and he evangelized, and we traveled and we sang. And I remember as a young child always getting up with my dad singing, you know, from the age of 5, holding that mic and getting up there singing with him, even though I didn't even know the songs. And so anyways, as time went by, you know, I've always loved music. It's always been such a passion to me. But in 2016, my life changed. And, you know, some might say for the worst, but I say, you know, through the worst time of my life is when I found God. I always knew there was God, but that's when I really, really come to know the Lord as my personal Savior, friend, and just everything I've ever needed and ever would need in this life. And so I went to work one day and I was perfectly normal. I felt great. And all of a sudden I had to leave early that day. And so I took a couple hours off from work and I went to a doctor's appointment because I had been having a few small minor things just not feeling right, but never thought it was anything. And so, but you know, they say, you know your body more than anyone else, you know, and to listen to it. So I chose to go to the doctor. And so they went and they ran tests on me and they said, you have diabetes. And so they were treating me for that. And I left that day and I drove all the way back to work. I felt fine, I felt great that whole day. And I got out of my car, got out of my car and just, you know, had laughter and everything. And as I shut that car door, this ungodly pain hit me so bad. And I thought, okay, you know, I can get through this. So I continued on into the school where I worked, and I went to the bathroom, and I remember I was just crying. I was in so much pain. Like, I thought I was going to die that moment. And so I was able to walk back to my office, and I called my mom and I said, "Mom, you got to come get me. Something's not right." And so she came, picked me up. We went to the ER, and they ran tests. And the doctor, after waiting for a while, the doctor walks in and says, "Okay, we got two problems. We got a minor problem and we got a major problem." And I thought, well, you know, okay, what is it? And he said, "Well, you have gallstones." And I thought to myself, well, if that's the not so bad thing, then what else does he have to tell me? And as I looked into his eyes, I saw straight through him what would soon become my biggest battle to face. And he said, "Ma'am, you have a large mass on your ovaries, and I'm going to send you to an oncology to get it checked out." And mind you, I know what doctor offices are and hospitals, but when you get into saying all these names and stuff, I'm thinking, what exactly are you talking about, you know? And he said, "I'm going to send you to a cancer center." And I think, you know, in that moment, I just went numb. And I thought, what? Like, why? You know? And so anyways, I went on home, and I remember getting into the car, and I just broke. I broke with the biggest fear I've ever felt in my life. And just hearing those words, cancer, is such a scary thought, because I've known many people in my life that have not made it through cancer. And, you know, I went home and I couldn't even stand to breathe. You know, I just broke down. I thought, God, why me? Why is this happening? I am 36 years old. Why does it have to happen to me? My kids weren't home. My son was at college at the time. And, you know, the first thing I thought about was my children. Like, how am I supposed to tell my kids that I have cancer? And so, and I talked to someone else that I really, really love and care about. And the first thing that came to my mind was, Lord, am I ever going to get a chance to make some things right that were so wrong, you know, in our relationship prior? And I just felt hopeless. I felt hopeless. And I was so angry with God. I was just screaming out to God, why? Why does this have to happen to me? I have a whole life ahead of me. There's so many things that I have not done that I want to do. I don't want to die. And so my kids come home, and, you know, I couldn't even tell them without crying, you know. I said, well, the doctor thinks I might have cancer. And so that Friday, they got me into the cancer center. And they checked everything out, got me set up for surgery. They were like, we're going to do a full hysterectomy, you know, blah, 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 blah. You know, we won't really know until we go in there, run biopsies, do this and that, you know. So anyways, I came back home, and the next day, my legs started swelling. And I had the most awful pain in my leg that I couldn't stand it, you know. I went to the doctor, and they ran tests, they did x-rays, ultrasounds. They told me that I was having just, you know, leg cramps, whatever. Gave me some Flexeril to help me relax. So I came home, and that did no good. And mind you, when I talk about this, I'm talking about the times that I knew there was God, but my relationship was not where it needed to be. And that, having a relationship with God is so different than just knowing that there is a God. And so anyways, I went, and the next day my leg just continued to swell so big that I couldn't hardly tell which toe was what, and my son, he came home that evening and he said, he said, Mom, I'm taking you to the big hospital in the city. And he loaded me up and took me there, and they checked me out and they put me straight in the hospital. And they put a blood filter through, in case I felt the same way, but I am colon cancer survivor now, but I am not able to do anything. I am so sorry to hear that, but I am so glad that you joined my life, and, to see or hear anyone else's stories that survived cancer. God is so good. He is so good to us. And I'm so happy to hear that you are cancer free. Praise God. But anyways, he took me, and I had my blood filter put in, and they put me on Lovenox shots, and they told me, they said, if it gets any worse, we're going to have to amputate your leg, because my pulse were just gone. And, throughout this time, I was in so much pain. And, there's a little funny story to throw in there, though. Now, when I think back about it, my son, he's at the hospital, he's by my side the whole entire time, and he rolls me to the bathroom and throws me out the wheelchair on accident. Ripped the IV out of my arm. But anyways, because the brakes just stopped really, really fast. So anyways, but they went in and did surgery that Friday, and that was around my birthday. And I remember coming to, and they said, they told my family, your daughter has ovarian cancer. They said that mass was so large that it was laying on my colon, and it hadn't attached itself yet, but if I would have waited any longer, and they did a full hysterectomy, and a couple days later, they opened me up from here to here, and I developed a really serious infection in the hospital in my wound. And, I laid in that bed during that time, and I just remember not being hungry and not, having any energy. I felt myself slowly fading away. And with all the anger and all the hurt and the pain that I had all just inside of me, I couldn't even explain of how I was feeling in that moment. And I thought, well, maybe I'm just tired from thinking and crying so much. So as I lay there, my mom, bless her heart, she stayed there with me every second. She never for once left my side. I am so grateful for her each and every day. She was able to get a nurse, and she said, hey, my daughter, something's wrong. And when they came in there, they pulled the covers back to check my incision. And there was so much infection on the covers, and just it was horrible. And so they rushed out of the room, and they came back in and brought all their stuff to do surgery inside my room. And they said, ma'am, we do not have time to get you into, the surgery room. And they said, this is gonna hurt. We do not have time to give you deadener pain, whatever. And they cut me open. You know, I felt everything. And I was in so much just numb and scared. I felt everything when they cut me open. And they cleaned it, they packed it, and that became a wound that, you know, took about 11 months to close up. But anyways, shortly after that, I started chemo treatments. And I remember I was still just really dealing with a lot of depression. And I went actually to live with my mom and dad during that time because I could not take care of myself. I lost all feeling in the left side of my leg from my hip down. Couldn't walk, couldn't go to the bathroom by myself. I am the most modest person you'll ever meet in your life. And I felt so just, I don't even know how to explain it to you guys. Being put in a position to where you have no choice. You know, just, it was crazy. And anyways, I started chemo. And I remember the first time walking into a chemo treatment center where you see so many people hurting and in pain, sad, you know, because each one of us, we had a story. We were on the same journey. It's just that some of us weren't going to make it to the end. And some of us did. And, you know, I sat there and I was so angry with God. And I said, why am I here? I do not belong here. This is not me. This is not who I am. And I was so young at the time. But yeah, I see so many other young people in that place going through the same thing I was. And I sit there with my anger and my flesh just letting it just kill me, tear me down, my emotions, everything. And I looked over and I saw this lady come walking in with her husband. She was bald. She was so beautiful. Her eyes just, there was something about her. And I just watched. I sat in the back and I just watched. And I was just like, how is this lady smiling? Why is she happy? What's going on? Like, this makes no sense. This makes me angry to see someone happy. And you know, in my testimony, I'm always going to be very truthful on my feelings. Because my testimony from where it started and ended is incredible. Of how God changed my heart and changed my life. And that's why I'm sharing it today. To let people know. And to know there's hope. There's hope in God. And so anyways, as I see this lady, a sense of peace just fell over me. And I thought, God, what is this? All that anger, that sadness that I had built up inside of me started dissolving. And I heard these words in my heart. The joy of the Lord is our strength. We can do all things through Christ who gives us strength. And in that moment, I remember taking a deep breath and I just thought, wow. You know what? My whole mindset changed on how I looked at my situation. And I thought, and I looked around the room and I thought, wow. If we can find a reason to smile, be joyful. How it can spread to others. And so from that day on, I went to my chemo treatments. And I thought, Lord, I don't know where you are, but you must be here with me. I said, so I'm going to go in positive, change my heart, change my mindset. And I remember one of my treatments, this lady, I don't even know who she was. She was there supporting someone she cared about. You know, you've seen people going in and they had someone sit with them for hours, you know, and she walks over to me and she said, ma'am, she said, you are absolutely beautiful. She said, would you mind if I prayed with you? And I cried and I said, no. And she grabbed my hands and I felt the warmth in her hands. And I remember she prayed for me and she asked God to watch over me and heal me. And, you know, I just started gaining strength. And I went through my cancer journey through the end with positive, a whole new mindset. My heart was changed. But I want to talk about now, about before I got to this point. I was staying with my mom and dad, and I had to literally sleep in a reclining chair. I took my dad's chair over. And I remember he would get up at 5 o'clock every morning and give me my love nut shot. 5 o'clock in the evening, he'd do the same. He was always there. And we did this for 6 months. But my dad was the one that, he was so full of faith, never spoke a negative thing to me. You know, I had to learn through my journey of going through this to be careful of my surroundings and people that I would let get into my life and come close to me. Because, you know, some people, I don't think they intentionally do it, but when you are sick and you have cancer, that's something that's really hard to explain to people of just how you're feeling. And so I went and I started really being careful at what I listened to. And but I sit in that chair. I slept in that chair day and night. I still could not walk and still felt depressed. And you know, it was the nighttime when it would get worse. And I would lay there and I would just, you know, just talk to God. And I started listening to music. And the music was so calming and peaceful to me. It was like healing. And one day, I remember all my family was over. They were having a cookout, and I was just sitting in the house by myself. I mean, my family would come in and visit with me, but, you know, everybody was kind of just doing their thing, and I felt really sad because, you know, I just didn't feel normal anymore. And I started praying, and I thought, Lord, this has changed me so much. But in those nighttime hours, it was like I had God right there beside me. I could feel His presence. And I remember crying out to the Lord and saying, God, if you have a purpose for me in my life, if you give me another chance to live, God, I want to do exactly what you want me to do. I want your will for me. And, that next day I woke up. And, I always wanted the blinds closed and it dark. And I told my mom, I was like, open the blinds. Let's get some light in here. And I just, God showed me that my state of mind, instead of trusting in Him, was what was bringing me down. And, I started building a relationship with the Lord through this. And God really started showing me things. He started showing me things about my younger years, when I used to sing with my mom and dad in church, and just how happy I was. And even though I did not understand who God was, or, any of that at that time, God brought these memories back to me. And I finally one day, I was like, I'm done being depressed. I'm done being like this. I have got to get up and live. I've got so many reasons to live. My kids, I did not want my kids to have to grow up without a mom. But in my prayer, I prayed God's will, and I tell you what, I owe everything I have inside of me to God for what all He's brought me through. And I just am so very thankful each and every day. I'm telling you guys this because I got up, I had a walker, and I got that walker. I reached as far as I could from that chair, and I told myself, Leah, get up. It's time to get up. Quit being kicked down by the enemy. And I got up and I made myself walk up and down my mom and dad's, that area that they have. And I walked and I walked and I walked, and I started regaining my strength. And the doctor, I said, I don't know, but I'm numb. I can't feel my leg. And they said, you might not ever. We had to take all the lymph nodes out and all that. And I left, and I just kept on continuing to push. And I pushed through, and my feeling came back in my leg. And I'm going to tell you what, that was a good feeling to feel my foot touching the ground again. It really, really was. But this situation, going through my cancer journey, I have been cancer-free for about 5.5 years, 6 years, something like that. And I am so very thankful each and every day for God's grace and His mercy to be able to tell my story and share with you guys my testimony, because I just feel like sometimes we get there and we feel hopeless. If it's not cancer, it's something else, or things people are going through in life, we feel hopeless. But we just got to know that there is a God that is able to change any situation, and that all things are possible through Him, and that when we don't have strength, that we can call upon His name, and He will be there. He'll be there right on time. Sometimes we might not feel Him, but He is there always. And so anyways, I'm going to share with you guys a song. And I'm trying to think of what to sing. But if you guys just stay with me for a little bit longer, I'm trying to share it in, the not fastest, but I know I've been on here for a little bit, so, but I just want to say to each and every one of you that I really do appreciate you guys listening, and just be encouraged, stay encouraged, There's nothing that God cannot do. And I am a walking, breathing testimony to that. And, you know, I've told people my story before in person. And when I tell it, it's like it's healing to me, you know, because, you know, then it shows someone else that might have no hope, that there's always a reason, and to never give up. Never give up on anything that you're going through. And so I'm going to get a song here. And let's see here. And I'm going to share this song because I absolutely love it. And
emotional and physical health. The new Sleep Number Climate 360 Smart Bed is the only smart bed in the world that actively cools,
sorry,
warms, and effortlessly restores.
When you're up against a wall and your mountain seems so tall, and you realize that life's not always fair, you can run away and hide and let the old man decide, or you can change your circumstances with a prayer. When everything falls apart, praise His name. When you have a broken heart, just raise your hands and say, Lord, you're all I need. You're everything to me, and He'll take the pain away. When it seems you're all alone, praise His name. When you feel you can't go on, just raise your hands and say, greater is He that lives within me, and He'll take the pain away. Oh, 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 oh. If you just praise His name. Oh, you can overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. You'll see the darkness fall as your faith begins to grow. You're not alone. So how can you be lonely when everything falls apart? Praise His name. When you have a broken heart, just raise your hands and say, Lord, you're all I need. You're everything to me, and He'll take the pain away. When it feels you're all alone, praise His name. When you feel you can't go on, just praise His name. Greater is He that lives within that's what we gotta do. We gotta praise the Lord on our good days, on our bad days, no matter what you are going through, no matter what you're facing. You've got to praise the Lord and just thank Him anyways. Thank Him in advance for what He is going to do in your life. And I'm so thankful today. So now I would love to share something else with you guys. Okay, so through my journey, as I talk about this, I'm going to get this ready. I have a little special thing tonight that I would love to do. And that is, through this journey, I spoke about music being so special to me. It's always been my desire to sing, to, just, I always pictured in my mind as a young child and growing up, recording and putting my own music out there. And what got me into it was through my journey, and it didn't even happen right after I went through my chemo and all that. But as a few years went by, I remember telling the Lord all the time, but I just did not know how to go about doing it because I did not have enough confidence in myself at the time. I thought, well, who am I, I went to church one Sunday morning. I hadn't been in quite a while. And the pastor, he got up, and it was at my dad's church, so they asked me to sing. I sang a special for the first time in years. And sorry guys, I'm trying to see where I can get this. But anyways, he got up and he preached after I sang, and he stopped in the middle of his sermon and he said, "Young lady, there's somebody out there that needs to hear your voice, and you need to start singing." And I was like, okay. So I left, didn't really think much about it, and about 3 weeks went by, and I was at work, and I was really busy, and that message came to me, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna do this. Well, COVID started, and I was just at home, not doing anything, and it kept coming back to my heart, so I started sharing on social media. And mind you, I never had anything to do with social media. I was not a fan of Facebook, Instagram, none of that. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Well, I started sharing everything, singing anything and everything. And I thought I was doing something great, That one night I sang "You Say" by Lauren Daigle, and that song changed my life. I felt the presence of the Lord so strong in me that I knew how to use my gift, and that my gift would be used for the Lord and to be a ministry to reach people's hearts. And so anyways, I started singing, and I went through the You God's music competition, and I made it all the way to the end, and then my journey there stopped. And that is perfectly fine because I learned so much during that time and grew from that. And I see that now. And it, built my confidence, and just, my love for music is just in me. Like, it's not going anywhere. And so, anyways, I know not everyone's going to like the songs that I put out. I have currently wrote and put out 3 songs this last year. And so the link is in my bio if you guys would like to listen to them. I have more music that I've written that is in the works of I'm hoping by maybe the middle of November to have my new single, for it to drop in the middle of November. So I'm really, really excited about that. God's just doing some wonderful, wonderful things. And so I'm really, really so thankful for that. And I'm going to try to pull up one of my songs. Let's see here. And see if I can share one of my songs that I wrote with you guys. Let's see here. I'm using this different deal because my laptop crashed a while back, and so I'm learning. And I don't know if I will be able to do this. Let's see here. And I don't think I will, but maybe so. That's what I'm saying. I'm still learning to use all this technology stuff. I'm not very good at it yet. And so, thank you so much, Rio, Ray, and Sean. I'm not sure how to say that, but I just want to thank you guys for being here and listening and supporting. I really, really appreciate it. Let's see here. And okay, since I can't do that, I tell you what I will do. I'm just gonna play it for you guys. And maybe. One day I will have some help with this. To get everything, you know, going like it's supposed to. Okay guys, I am not going to be able to do it tonight, but I might come back on tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, and share some of my music with you guys. And but I just really, really want to say thank you guys, and you guys have a wonderful weekend. I hope and pray that my testimony has blessed somebody. And just know that, you know, to keep hope, keep faith, and, you know, when you have nothing left, hold on to God. That's all you can do. And just know that He will bring you through. So you guys have a good night, and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, bye-bye.